A very good evening and a warm welcome to a fast edition of UBC News Tonight on this 28th day of November 2024. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto, and we do welcome you to this evening's news bulletin. We start off with our first headlining story this evening. President Museveni has urged East African leaders to prioritize economic and political integration, warning that failure to unite could jeopardize the region's future development. He made the remarks during a meeting with Right Honorable Amason Chindi Jeffa, the Speaker of the Senate of Kenya, and his delegation at State House in Entebbe. President Museveni expressed disappointment over the reluctance of some East African leaders to embrace integration, which he said has slowed the region's progress. We have more.
Our appreciation for the hospitality accorded to us so far. Mzee tumeshukuru. We actually felt home away from home. You know, walking around the city, and we just felt we're back in Nairobi. The brotherhood, the sisterhood, it's amazing. So allow me to say thank you so much for giving us that kind of, hospitality.
As I was saying in my speech, you young people, you must push the program of integration. Kwa sababu mtakuja kuhatarisha Africa. If Africa does not integrate politically and economically, the future may not be good. So these borders really disable our capacity to kusaidiana. You can't do it because it is another country. And this is the problem Mwalimu had when he was supporting us against Idi Amin. But you young people, you should really push for the integration of Africa. The politics you are engaged in now, football. Somebody asked me, which club do you support? Can you imagine that which European club do I support? I said, what are those? He said, they are clubs. What are they? There is something called Arsenal. Another one called what? Please. I was a footballer myself, but I stopped playing in 1966. So if I couldn't play football myself, how can I watch the football of other people? So watu wetu wanakuwa kwenye mambo hayo. They don't look at their own future.
The government has directed that all Ugandans living in landslide-prone areas, especially along the slopes of Mount Elgon, should vacate to safer locations before another disaster strikes. This directive was made by Prime Minister Robina Nabanja during a crisis meeting held today at her office in Kampala to address the situation in Bulambuli district. This follows last night's devastating landslide, where a number of people are believed to have died after being buried in a landslide in Buluganya sub-county, Bulambuli district.
The heavy rains in most parts of the country, including Mount Elgon areas, last night left some dead and hundreds displaced. This affected 3 villages of Masugu, Mamaro, and Namachere in Buluganya sub-county in Bulambuli district.
The estimated number of people, the number will go up to around 80. We are trying to assess to see, because that area has 148 households. So like many people have died, roads have been cut off, bridges have been washed. We start with the Sim Bridge.
Today, the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja called a crisis meeting on how her office should move in to rescue the affected people and ensure that the affected families receive support from government.
Fortunately, the PS yesterday, we have 8 billion that came from the Ministry for Contingency. So we can take advantage of this and have these people supported as a matter of urgency.
During the meeting, the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja directed that all Ugandans residing in landslide-prone areas, especially along the slopes of Mount Elgon, should vacate to safer areas before another catastrophe hits them.
Early warning systems should be the answer. And we want to urge our people, when you are told, please relocate, leave. Because we don't enjoy seeing people dead. Nobody wants this. Because those people will never come back. I also want to urge the people of Bugisu, you the leaders of Bugisu, when we say let us relocate people, support so that we can save life.
As Bugisu, we are going through this again. We have had this story over and over and over. But we are praying that this time.
Dispatched 500 soldiers to go on ground to support on. Yes. But we can't, the equipments will not be able to help. The excavators can't also help.
They can't reach.
They can't reach.
The Prime Minister and the leader of government business in Parliament, who is also Kakumiro Woman Member of Parliament, cautioned politicians who allegedly speak against the government relocation plan of the affected communities.
We are talking about relocating people. Other politicians are saying, no, when all these people go, our votes are good, doing what? But now, where are the votes? Can a dead person vote? Local people, you, the leaders, have not supported the office of the Prime Minister. You are over-politicizing everything.
But these sentiments that comes in, the political sentiments, make our work very hard.
But as of today's meeting, we have agreed that either you have a card or you don't have, you have to move to a safer place. So I encourage my people to move, leave the place, go to another area. Within Bugisu, all over Bugisu, we are going to settle within Bugisu. People should not fear that they are going to different places. We are within Bugisu, we are going to live in Bugisu. So like a member of parliament, I urge people, we like each other, we love each other when we are all alive.
During the meeting, the permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, Dansani Baraba, and an official from the Uganda Red Cross, Joel Kitutu, highlighted the emergency plan government has come up with to aid the people of Bulambuli.
We are now preparing issues of relief food arising out of the contingency fund. We want to ensure that food is delivered before close of business today. We already have officers who are on the way. I assigned a specific officer to be in charge of Mount Elgon. He's already on site, and plus Brigadier Rugadia Akiki, they have gone to the site.
What has been done by Red Cross? We have so far deployed more than 50 volunteers. They are doing rapid assessment on ground. And I know by 2 p.m., 3 p.m. we shall have the final report. But currently, you know how we work. We have regional warehouses. We have a regional warehouse in Mbale, and we have more than 420 non-food items. What we call NFI.
What I'm going to do is to get my tent, go to those places, and have these people relocated under my command. Have those people out. Otherwise now, it is now our responsibility. And if there are those who have refused, then we use army to drive them off.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, has tasked officials of Uganda Red Cross Society to expedite the process of coming up with the Red Cross Amendment Bill 2021, give it to the Prime Minister and Attorney General to reintroduce it to Parliament and have it debated and passed to support humanitarian activities in the country. While speaking to the officials at Parliament, Among said if Red Cross Bill is passed into ACT, Parliament will have a law through which to allocate money to Red Cross for humanitarian services.
Uganda Red Cross Society is still operating under the Red Cross Act 1964, some of whose provisions are outdated because the humanitarian terrain in the country keeps changing in magnitude. Officials of Uganda Red Cross realized the need to amend the legislation and in the 10th Parliament came up with amendments which, after being taken to the President, were not returned. However, the Office of the Attorney General advised them to restart the process.
Some elements in that Act of Parliament which were a bit broad and were always a bit difficult for us to execute. I'll just give an example. The way government is supposed to support the Red Cross. So it is mentioned in passing.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Monk, said the bill was sponsored by a private member and had an effect on Article 93, advising them to take it to the Prime Minister to reintroduce it to Parliament.
The request that you go back to the Prime Minister and Attorney General to make sure that they produce the bill. Once it comes to us in Parliament, I can assure you it will take us the shortest time possible for us to pass that bill because we need it. We needed it even yesterday.
Uganda Red Cross Society is to launch a Red Cross humanitarian fund to have Ugandans and private sector support humanitarian services. They say government support is inadequate and also support from international community is dwindling, yet the situations of emergencies they respond to are increasing.
As office, we had reached an understanding of funding to the tune of about 12 billion. We have never got it. It keeps dwindling, and even what Parliament passes at times doesn't come through. This is amid a situation whereby the emergencies will respond to and manage on the increase. As we speak today, I think you may be aware, right, Honorable, there was a big landslide in Bulambuli yesterday, where 20 people are feared dead. Our teams even reaching there is difficult. They're already there.
Among says, as legislators, they will wait for the budget from the Ministry of Health and that one from the Prime Minister's office to do their appropriation role and ensure humanity is supported and situations restored.
You advocate for the increase of the budgetary for the budget. We will also wait for the budget framework paper to come from the Prime Minister's office and the Minister of Health, and we shall be able to support. And we are not supporting you, we are supporting humanity outside there.
Red Cross Society only has 2 weeks to process the bill, whose regulatory impact assessment is almost completion. Have it reintroduced to Parliament since the country is going into the budget process. I'm Navka Farida and Gloria Guitabinji at Parliament.
Now, Uganda Airlines has unveiled a flight path sustainability project aimed at mitigating bird strikes at Entebbe International Airport. During the project launch in Entebbe, Uganda Airlines CEO Jennifer Bamuturaki decried that since resuming operations, the airline has experienced 6 bird strikes on both their CRJ900 and Airbus fleet.
There is an old saying among aviators that while birds and planes may share the sky, they do not belong in the same flight path. True to the saying, indeed birds and planes do not flock together. The national carrier Uganda Airlines says they have suffered 6 different bird strikes on both the CRJ900 and Airbus A330s since resuming operations.
We all know that bird strikes are a challenge. Every time we are taking off for landing, those are some of the things we keep thinking about. And just to give you context, a windshield on a Bombardier, if we are lucky, we will get it at $100,000. If we are lucky. If we are lucky. And now that Bombardier sold to Mitsubishi and Bombardier closed that plant, it means that there's a high demand for spare parts of the Bombardier type of aircraft. We had an aircraft recently that was grounded in Nairobi
because it got the bird strike on landing for about a week or so.
Now, it's against this background that the airline has unveiled a new initiative codenamed Flight Path, aimed at mitigating the risk of bird strikes at Entebbe International Airport.
Roughly, for example, in a month globally, 90% of bird strikes are caused during takeoff and also landing. So here we want to look at how can we ensure that we reduce birds flying along the flight path.
The project focuses on community engagement, waste management, and environmental conservation by working closely with Entebbe municipality local communities, particularly those around fishing sites.
But it is our part as leaders, and as leaders I don't mean the mayors. A leader is anybody in the community who takes initiative to see it transform. As leaders, it is our job to ensure that we get our people in the mindset of change.
We thought that if we turned this waste into gold, these conditions will change. So apart from finding out that there's a challenge that we had now to get the community to work with us.
The airline is also taking the lead in cultivating a culture of recycling waste and routine community cleaning initiatives. Lydia Chomkama and Dan Lugemwa, UBC News.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has reassured women in markets and young entrepreneurs that the government is working tirelessly to eliminate obstacles affecting their work. Initiatives such as the PDM and the Growing Rural Opportunities for Women are some of the efforts in place to support them. Local Government Minister Raphael Majezi delivered the message on behalf of the Prime Minister during the 6th Annual Women and Youth Entrepreneurs Symposium in Kampala.
The informal sector is a key driver of Uganda's economy, contributing over 50% to the country's gross domestic product and providing more than 80% of national employment. This sector includes market women and entrepreneurs, whose role is crucial in sustaining livelihoods and driving economic growth across various communities. As part of efforts to empower market women and foster inclusive leadership, the Institute for Social Transformation, IST, hosted the 6th Annual Women and Youth Entrepreneurs Symposium. The symposium aimed to provide a platform for the entrepreneurs to connect, learn, and advocate for their rights and opportunities.
Celebrating the women's resilience when it comes to business. We know what the market women and the youth are going through when it comes to business. So this is a special day to appreciate them and say that yes, they are the movers of this economy.
Despite the sector's contributions, concerns remain over the undervaluation of the informal sector, with poor working conditions affecting many. Market women and youth entrepreneurs have called on the government to establish a specialized fund to support their businesses better.
Their cry as women in the markets was to make sure that the Ugandan government adopts easy technology for women, rural women farmers, to stop breaking with their backs.
There are several elements because as we reimagine, we are also looking at elements to do with gender-based violence, sexual harassment that is affecting women across the globe, but also in the markets because there is a lot of sexual harassment that is happening in these spaces.
In response to these concerns, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, represented by Minister Raphael Majezi, assured women that the government is actively addressing these challenges.
And programs such as the Parish Development Model, which commits 30% of all the resources to the women. And each year, this represents about 300 billion shillings. And this is especially for the low-income earners, whom we call women in subsistence. 30% of the PDM, another 300 billion, is for the youth. Uganda Women Entrepreneur Program, the GROW project. These reforms are aligned with our long-term goals as outlined in Vision 2040 and our National Development Plan.
During the symposium, more than 70 women from Kasuri and Kalere markets graduated with certificates in bookkeeping and empowerment.
I commend IST for its tireless effort to empower and uplift women and youth entrepreneurs, especially those operating on the margins of Uganda's economy.
The 6th Annual Women in Markets Symposium was celebrated under the theme Reimagining an Inclusive and Integrated Economy in Uganda. Rebecca Nantongo, Stephen Kayumba, UBC News.
Police in Woya district have detained a driver of elite drone taxi whose at-risk lives of 12 people aboard the car when he forced his way to cross through the flood at Tangi Riverbank in Pakwach. According to the police, water entered the car engine, which led to its abrupt stoppage in the middle of the flood.
Many people risked losing their lives in the Pakwach flood that happened yesterday. As the flood worsened, a taxi vehicle belonging to Elite transporters heading to Lira from Arua City got stuck in the flood when the driver forced his way into the strong flood waters.
The omnibus entered the ditch and sucked water, so the engine went off.
Police has been working with us to ensure that no vehicle was allowed to cross this road. But this particular taxi that had come from Arua insisted and tried to pass in the floods. And this is where it got stuck and was being swept away.
And the driver, we have picked him, is for interrogation to why he entered the road knowing that water was flooding. He's in Anoya police station with CID for interrogation. The vehicle also, we have taken it there, pending the owner to come with the clear documents, then we hand it over to him.
Uganda People's Defense Force and Uganda Roads Authority officials swung into action to rescue people being trapped in the taxi in the middle of the flood, where the rescue boat capsized, leading to drowning and the death of one UNRWA engineer and leaving some other people in critical conditions.
Rescue team came to pick them, but anchor went off and the boat capsized with some few who are being rescued. Another boat came to rescue those ones. Still the same problem happened, the boat capsized. Now after saving those ones, 3 who are in critical condition, we took them to Anaka Hospital, 2 children and a nun. And from Anaka Hospital, they were referred to Lacho. We are to ascertain their condition from Lacho at this moment. In that incident, only one engineer, Hassan, who passed on in the struggle.
By today, no more deaths have been registered apart from the UNRWA engineer who lost his life while rescuing the people aboard Elite drone car.
It's unfortunate that we lost one of our staff by the name Hassan. They had come to rescue the team that was in the taxi.
Since Wednesday morning, vehicles from Acholi sub-region and South Sudan en route to Kampala through Machison Falls National Game Park started their journey in the afternoon of today after water levels at Tangi had gone down. Drivers are calling upon the government to have a permanent solution to the frequent flooding at the banks of Tangi River.
Maombi yetu ni serikali kama ina uwezo ijaribu itengeneze hii njia. Na hata kabla hawajatengeneza njia wajaribu kutafuta ile timu ya kuokoa watu kama wamekwama kwa maji. Kama vile jana kuna matatu ilikuwa imekwama na ilikaa sana hapa kabla haijalini watu hawajaokolewa.
So we had to spend a night here with no food to eat because this is the main route which connects Congo to Uganda and other places, Sudan and all the other destinations. So the cargo, we had to deliver it and we are somehow behind schedule. So I think if the government can at least expedite on working on this road, it would be better to smoothen the transport.
But I think with the issue of change of climate change that we're experiencing now, so these floods are now appearing on so many roads. You have Bobby Aye Road with the same problem. So the issue is we have to provide structures that will be resilient and withstand the change of climate. Let's avoid using the old designs now. We have come with new designs. In the next 50 years, you may find that the boss culvert there will not work.
Joseph Fodama, UBC News.
Now, government is yet to secure funds to implement the disaster preparedness and management policy under the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. The Minister of State for Disaster, Lauryn Masika, informed Parliament that prioritizing funding for the policy on disaster will save the country from future situations. This is as the House discusses solutions to disasters which have continued to cost the country lives.
Fresh on the minds is the heavy downpour which left several lives lost and hundreds missing in Bulambuli mudslide. This is among the recent catastrophe after seasonal floods have attacked various parts of the country. Parliament, chaired by Speaker Anita Among, deliberated on the government priorities, including the budget for contingencies.
We are having a looming famine is coming up because gardens have been submerged.
The minister here will come here with a supplementary very soon to tell us what he's spending under 3%. And the House will be very surprised.
You will find that some of us, for example, we still have cases which were submitted to the office of the Prime Minister 2 years ago.
Toro County North MP Geoffrey Ikanya reminded the House on the policy on disaster preparedness and management, which main goal is to establish institutions and mechanisms that will reduce the vulnerability of people, livestock, plants, wildlife to disaster.
And the mechanism is within the policy to ensure that the community within the rivers, riverbanks, and so forth are moved away and money is provided. The minister is not talking about that.
But we have to fund the policy. The policy looks at decentralization of the approach on response. We need to procure equipment. If we know Bududa Elgon's region is prone to issues of landslide, then the equipment meant for response for landslide must be assembled within that area. But we cannot implement the policy the way it is if we don't fund the policy.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, queried the absence of a disaster committee, yet it is a prerequisite under the laws of the land.
There shall be a disaster preparedness and management commission for Uganda to deal with both natural and man-made disasters. 2, Parliament shall, for the purpose of this article, prescribe the composition, the functions, and procedures for implementation of the functions of this commission. When shall we have a commission to this effect in the country? It is a constitutional requirement.
Right, Honorable Speaker, that is underway. We had a meeting and discussed that with the senior minister, and we are meant to have another meeting with the Prime Minister to discuss the issue of the commission.
The Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Lauryn Masika, was present to respond to the queries of the MPs in regards to disaster management. Minister Abe informed the House on the readiness to deliver relief to the affected communities.
We are soon going to be dispatching relief items to the different parts of the country, and the requests that were received at reports attached to will receive support of relief items in their respective districts. Other members.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, still on the floods, we do have an update of some of the statistics coming in from Bulambuli district. Now, happening on the 28th, from the updates, we did receive that 45 houses were completely buried. 15 people were injured, 12 admitted to Buluganya Health Center 3. Now, 3 were referred to Muyembe Health Center 3. Now, it's also been recorded that 15 bodies were recovered, 6 females, 9 males, and of which 7 children were among the dead, 6 of who were boys and 1 girl. From the records, according to the Uganda Red Cross Society, over 8 villages have been affected. Now, ongoing search and rescue operations in collaboration with UPDF, UPF, local leaders and community members are still ongoing Body management and psychosocial support for bereaved families is also going on. Community sensitization and awareness, not forgetting provision of basic first aid services and coordination and preparation of a rapid needs assessment report. Now, we do wish to send our dearest condolences to the families of the deceased. Now, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we do return with more stories after these messages.
There is myths that so many of you live by. If your eye is twitching, it means you're going to see someone you like. If it shines and rains at the same time, it means a leopard is giving birth. If your hand is itching, it means you're going to get money. If you see an owl, it means somebody's gonna die. If you hear of a disease outbreak, just know it is in a village district at the border next to some suspicious country. You will want to scratch that last myth, because Mpox is in 19 districts and Kampala is among with dozens of cases. Please stop going around checking anyone's hand. Mpox kills. Protect your loved ones.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Take 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Take 10. Sports Take 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
Winning requires muscles tougher than concrete. But when you shop with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations! You have finished shopping and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us here in UBC News Tonight. Now back to our main story this evening. A 4-hour downpour in Bulambuli has left 8 villages destroyed, with only 14 bodies retrieved so far, as of over 100 people are reported missing. The tragedy struck 2 sub-counties of Sorti and Buluganya, where nearly 200 households, more than 50 of which have been buried, are now affected. We have more details in this report.
The rainfall yesterday, which lasted for 4 hours, wiped out 8 villages, claimed many lives and buried over 100 people who remain missing, according to the locals.
Over 100 people have died in the area. And now the survivors, we are wondering how they are going to survive for the next 5-10 years to come.
But we have got 11 people. Now people need this help from the government. Even cattle, every animal has taken off.
I'm requesting the government to make to find out all measures to make sure that our people are being resettled.
The sub-county chairperson of Buluganya noted that many lives were lost, though their identities have yet to be confirmed.
Very many people have died and are still missing in the muddies. Only 11 bodies have been recovered. We're still requesting the government to make sure that our people are relocated instead of dying here.
Annette Nandudu, the Bulambuli district chairperson, recalled that in 2022, Buluganya sub-county lost 5 people in a similar landslide. The district had prepared the locals for relocation, but the plan was not successful.
We prepared them. People have been prepared, cancelled, we are ready to go down. Just imagine, the same people we had prepared are the same people who have lost lives. what can I say as a local leader? What is government intervention about this?
Hajati Fahia Palanyibosa, the Bulambuli District Resident District Commissioner, expressed condolences to the grieving families and highlighted the government's preparations to address the crisis.
With bare hands, we can't move any further. However, I want to assure our people here that our team, our security team, the UPDF guys are coming with heavy machines to do intensive excavations. Let us be calm, let us be patient. We expect to get our people down there.
According to Hajati Fahia, locals have tried to retrieve their bodies, but the vast area has made it difficult. She revealed that the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, have deployed 120 officers to...
My UPDF team is on the way coming. The only challenge we are having, all the roads have been covered. They are trying to forge a way to this place with big machines to see that we get our brothers who are hidden down there.
District Woman Member of Parliament, Engineer Irene Muloni, along with other leaders, is urging locals to relocate to safer areas as more rainfall is expected.
Then please accept to leave this place and be taken elsewhere for the safety of your lives. Please, I humbly request you, accept relocation.
The situation where it has reached with all that mass, with the people buried, what does one do? It is so sad. It's sad, but my appeal to His Excellency the President, I appreciate the arrangements that he has made for us. But let's move. Let's move.
Bulambuli has long been affected by landslides and floods, resulting in loss of life and property.
Like we said, we do send our heartfelt condolences to the families that have been affected by the floods. Now, on a more lighter note, today with me in studio, we do have the Vice Chair of the Board of PSFU, in full, that is Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Madam Sarah Kajingo. We want to welcome you to UBC Studios. Thank you so much for joining us this evening after having a busy schedule today. We welcome you.
Thank you, Lauryn.
So we're going to get straight into it. I want you to tell the Ugandan, for a Ugandan who doesn't know what PSFU is, or Private Sector Foundation Uganda, could you explain to us what Private Sector Foundation Uganda is all about?
Private Sector Foundation Uganda is the apex body of the private sector, founded 30 years ago in 1995 by Dr. James Muluana and his contemporaries to address issues of the private sector. And we have grown. We will celebrate 30 years next year. We are structured along the 13 sectors that mirror Uganda's economy, from manufacturing, tourism, and hospitality, logistics, professional services, the emerging ones, creatives, insurance, financial sector. We have a membership. We are membership based, 346 business associations along those sectors and corporate bodies, and we have grown now to 3.5 million businesses in the country. At PSFU, we are structured with a board, which I'm happy to lead with my colleague, Mr. Humphrey Nzei, our chair, and we are elected. We emerge from the sectors. We have an advisory board led by eminent people who are our former chairs. So we are happy that over the years we have maintained a positive dialogue to advocate for the thriving business environment in the country, advocacy, business development services. We have partnered with the government of the Republic of Uganda on integration of markets. We are even now raiding businesses to penetrate the African Continental Free Trade Area. So everything private sector, PSFU leads, PSFU advocates, PSFU builds the competitiveness of Uganda's businesses to penetrate global markets with partners the World Bank, European Union, MasterCard Foundation. Right now, we are co-implementing the GROW project to scale women's businesses from micro to grow. And we unveiled the GROW loan for women in businesses that has already enabled women to formalize their businesses, to learn to take risk, to get banked. So we are happy to be trusted by the government and all those partners to co-implement those projects. And right now we are focused on the next generation of entrepreneurs, the youth.
Wow, so there's talk about the youth convention. I think that's happening next month. Could you tell us more about it?
Oh, it will happen on the 5th. As I have said, we have grown. We are celebrating 30 years since 1995. Businesses have progressed, and PSFU has incredible business people that have grown across all those structures, so those sectors. So it's about time now for us to take a step back, given the statistics in the country that majority of Ugandans are young people and buzzing with lots of ideas. So where do they take the ideas? If you have a brilliant idea, what do you do? So PSFU has great mentors. We carried out a survey, and most of the young entrepreneurs said, yes, some of us have been skilled, but would like to learn now from those trailblazers who have built businesses over years. How did they navigate the issues? How can we avoid the pitfalls they may have faced? If I have a brilliant idea, do I have to wait? How many years do I have to work? Do I have to rely on savings? What is the finance situation? Do I borrow? Is there anybody to handhold me? So on the 5th of December, we shall have the mentors in the room, have the young people in the room, over 800. We will host them free of charge. All of those youth with ideas who would like to start businesses. And if you have already started, how do you position your business? Because now the landscape of entrepreneurship in Uganda is going to grow. How do we ready and shape this next generation of entrepreneurs to really be the ones to lead? And so youth who are involved in generative intelligence, in the creative economy, in the fashion industry, will be in that room with these incredible businessmen across several sectors who have managed to navigate volatility. There are illustrious business people like Mr. Skandalalani, who have been in this market for quite some time, navigated the volatile wars. We have another very illustrious businessman, Mr. Amos Senze. How did he start? How was he able to access finance? How has he been able to invest sectorally in the country and invest elsewhere in other markets? There will be young people who started but are also trailblazers. What can these other young ones learn from them? So it's an exciting day that day on the 5th, and we call on all of you, the youth, to go to our website, www.psfuganda.org, and register. It will direct you to the registration. We will be able to sieve, our teams will sieve to see that whoever makes it to that room is really one with some idea or is involved in business and is eager to learn from the credible business people that have been able to scale their businesses in the country since 1995.
Well, 30 years has definitely been a very, well, it's a long journey for such a development and improvement. And I really like the way you said, over 3.5 million businesses. That's amazing. Talk to us about the annual private sector gala. That's alone, I would love to know more about it, and I know that every Ugandan also would like to know about what the gala is all about.
That one is an invite only signature event, the biggest on the private sector calendar, which we shall host on the 6th, just after the youth convention on the 5th, both at Serena Hotel. But do not worry, you're all represented through your business associations. Why we host the annual private sector gala, and this is the second, it is the culmination of hard work. Who are those private sector members, companies who have shown an example? Who, for example, now we are saying, yes, you're making profits, but what else are you doing for people, for planet? So we are going to appreciate and recognize the members of the private sector who have done better than others, so they can motivate others in several aspects. Women-led businesses, who are the innovators in that space, who have been able to scale, who have navigated challenges and overcome adversity. So it's an exciting 2 days for us. We welcome you, the youth in business, or you who are brimming with ideas. On the 5th, please do register. And at PSFU, we love what we do. We are happy to host you, and we look forward to having you.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Sarah Kajingo, who is the Vice Chair of the Board of Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Do visit the site for more information. Would like to thank you so much, Madam, for joining us this evening here on UBC News Tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauryn. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you too. Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, and we come back with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Uncle Mo, hasiri koja tukwasa. Vayo na wasajja batusonyiye. Chikakasi. Vayo.
Government has done it. Uganda Revenue Authority has taken you off the burden of paying interests and penalties. All you have to do is to pay your outstanding principal tax to benefit from the waiver of interests and penalties that runs till the end of December 2024. Call us on our toll-free line or email services@ura.go.ug.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for staying with us here on UBC News Tonight. Now, in more stories this evening, living life without a scandal is what has earned Onapito a genuine respect that various mourners have offloaded on him. State Minister for Disability Affairs, Helen Asamo, says corruption was never part of Onapito's life, something she says most leaders are lacking. This was at St. Peter's Cathedral in Soroti, where mourners converged to eulogize the fallen media practitioner and politician.
The atmosphere was somber, yet commemorative.
Thank you. Next.
The life and legacy of Onapito Ekomoloit was being reflected upon. The funeral service, held at St. Peter's Cathedral in Soroti, was attended by friends, family, and other congregants, where emotional encounters were unavoidable.
And I want to thank you, Papa, for everything you've given me, for the life you've been living. Thank you so much.
He was a great man. He loved his community. He loved culture. He loved sharing with everyone.
Papa, I'd like to say you really did bake the pie, and everyone here is reaping the beautiful taste of your work.
He loved his language. He loved Iteso. He loved Ichu. He loved togetherness.
Mary Karoro Okurut recollected her encounter with the deceased.
One of the testimonies is that Ona, who's lying here, changed the face of the press office of State House forever, positively. Thank you, Ona. So when I left, he became full press secretary, and of course he did a fantastic job.
Quite a love for national service that no single scandal was reported of him. Helen Asamo knows this too well.
So we need to begin thinking beyond our eyes. Ona was a man who was not corruptible. I have never had any scandal. This was Mr. Clean. We clap for him.
It is a life and career that even the day's preacher praised. Onapito's attempt to stop ministers from being members of parliament was not forgotten.
The African proverb says that you will never trust the tears of a coffin maker in a funeral. If we want to be praised, let us live a good life. This man has lived.
As the service drew to a close, mourners gathered to pay their last respect. The sense of loss was deep.
A person who loved his community, a person who worked hard for that community and would have wished this community to prosper.
Let's all be like him. When you have opportunity to work, work. When you have opportunity to love, love. When you have opportunity to take care of your family, take care of your family.
Onapito Ekomoloit may be gone, but his memory will live on in the hearts of those that cherished him.
He was a pro-people and he looked up to development. No wonder many of the organizations he touched, developed, moved from the step he found it to a better step.
He used to tell me that, Honorable, we must make sure that our children learn our language. He loved his mother tongue, he loved his language.
He was all round, he was a man of people. and we dearly miss him.
Onapito died on 27th September 2024 and will be buried on 30th November 2024 in the Teso district of Amuria in eastern Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okurut. Now, persons with physical disabilities under their umbrella organization, the Uganda National Action on Physical Disabilities, are urging the government to exempt taxes on medications and medical supplies critical for their health and well-being. They argue that reducing the financial burden on essential drugs will improve accessibility, allowing persons with disabilities to acquire the necessary treatment for a longer and healthier life. Isaac Isabidie, General Secretary of the Federation of Persons Affected by Dwarfism, says individuals with dwarfism face significant challenges in maintaining their health as they require ongoing medication to stay healthy and live long. However, these medications are often expensive.
According to research, when a dwarf person reaches ages of 30 and above, we start to experience joint pains. It is as if we are old, yet we are not old.
As a result of weak body structure that deteriorates in their early 30s, causing joint pain and increasing vulnerability, persons with physical disability are calling on government to exempt taxes on their medications to ensure sustainability and improve on their quality of life.
These medications are very expensive, the drugs. So we are just requesting the government to reduce taxes on those drugs, because some of us, we cannot afford.
We have issues of access to drugs. Spinal cord injury associations also, members of spinal cord injury, those have issues of they use drugs which will enable them to live in a normal life each and every day.
In order to improve on that, these people undergo what they call physiotherapy. And this physiotherapy is too expensive.
Isaac Isabidie, General Secretary of the Federation of Persons Affected by Dwarfism, also emphasized the need for a supportive and inclusive environment in healthcare facilities for individuals with dwarfism, ensuring they receive the same quality of care as others.
You approach a doctor when you are sick. We have that problem of where a doctor first looks at you, he takes time, others they first fear even to touch you, because I don't know how they understand the short people.
Brothers and sisters who are dwarfism, many of women, they go for antenatal care, like any other woman around in the country who goes into marriage, they get pregnant and go for antenatal care. But the delivery beds in the health facilities who are in these maternity wards are not accessible, they're not adjustable.
Isaac further states that there is crucial need for skilled personnel that detect dwarfism early, even before birth, to provide better care and support that can reduce dwarfism.
We lack those personnel. Yet, if they had already detected this condition when it is still early, we have some medications where a woman can be on, and they prevent that occurrence to happen.
To health centers, 2s and 3s, which will be abolished soon, health centers 4, we find that the medical personnel who are there cannot cater for our needs.
These challenges are not limited to persons with physical disabilities. Individuals with spinal injuries are also calling on government to provide support for their reproductive health, as they are unable to give birth naturally.
Most of our male counterparts who have been affected by spinal injuries cannot perform like they used to. It's a big challenge, it's breaking marriages, but more so it torments them mentally. Why? Some had not yet given birth by the time of the injury, and they're not able to have sex normally.
This effort aligns with Sustainable Development Goal 3, which focuses on ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all. It is also reinforced by Article 25 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Irene Faith Nantongo, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
The Ministry of Health's goal is to ensure access to adequate and quality health promotion, disease prevention, treatment and rehabilitative services, aiming to achieve a universal health coverage target of 90% by 2030. This revelation was made by Jen Ruther Cheng, the Minister of Health, during the ministry's presentation on the implementation status of its commitments.
The government, through the Ministry of Health, has increased access to specialized healthcare services by constructing, rehabilitating and equipping hospitals in line with the National Health Policy.
In financial year 21-22, funding was allocated to local governments for renovation of 4 health center fours, that is Kazo, Apapai and Kumi. And these health center fours were renovated. Funding was also availed for construction of theaters in 30 health center fours, which was done. In financial year 22-23, we set out to renovate and construct theaters of 13 health center fours, which was also accomplished.
The ministry is also digitalizing the health sector to address issues like doctors' absenteeism, which can make the public believe that there is a shortage of health specialists. In its fight against counterfeit medicine, the National Drug Authority is testing all medicines entering the country to ensure the safety and quality of products available on the market.
Is that National Drug Authority has strengthened its analytical laboratory capacity to ensure the quality of medicines improve, and they are also carrying out pharmacovigilance. So testing of the medicines that come into the country is ongoing for safety, quality, that is the active ingredient, to make sure that they are of the right quantity. As I mentioned earlier, the NDA has a microbiology lab that was commissioned. This one is in Mulago. But there is a new big laboratory that will include herbal medicines that is along Buganda Road.
However, the greatest challenge facing the health sector remains inadequate funding to achieve all the set targets. Winnie Ainembabaz Katwire for UBC.
Education stakeholders have highlighted that children who skip nursery school are 3 to 4 times more likely to drop out of school later compared to those who attend. The level builds foundational skills, boosts confidence and introduces integrated learning, especially during events like speech days and graduation ceremonies that mark the transition to primary school.
Pre-primary education, commonly referred to as nursery or kindergarten, caters to children aged 3 to 5 years through baby class, middle class and top class. Despite its critical role, government has paid minimal attention to this sector. Dr. Namisa Charles, Dean of Mother Kevin Postgraduate School at Uganda Matters Nkozi, stresses that pre-primary education is the bedrock of the educational system but remains underfunded and overlooked.
So the early childhood education is extremely important. Unfortunately, in the country we don't put emphasis. Yet when you look at the researches done, the children who go and complete the pre-primary or the nursery education, they are more likely to learn better, to succeed and pass, and they are less likely to drop out. In one of the analysis, they were saying the children who don't do nursery or primary education, they are about 3 to 4 times more likely to drop out or repeat a year.
At Baby's Nest Daycare and Kindergarten in Makindye, Director Sylvia Gassisi, whom we find superintending over her school's graduation day, shares how this level equips children with essential skills like connecting letters, forming words, speaking English and socializing.
we've had 30 graduates graduating from kindergarten to primary section. This excitement of graduation is really important to every parent, especially seeing them putting on their gowns and seeing giving them flowers and giving them gifts. It's like motivating their children to go to another level. So they know that whenever they achieve one level to another, it's an incentive. They are being given an incentive to continue to perform better.
Speech days and graduation of the pre-primary learners are significant for confidence boost and emphasize integrated learning, which is vital for holistic child development.
So they know that every time they complete a level in education, there's an achievement. It is a sign of achievement.
Brought to you by download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanaori.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Do join us at 10 o'clock for much more stories. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. We'll see you at 10.